Good evening to the July 8th Selectmen's Board, Selectmen's meeting. Raise and pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first on the agenda is a public hearing to receive comments regarding proposed amendments to the parking and traffic ordinances. So I'll open that up at this time. Is there anybody from the public that would like to make a comment? Would anyone from the board like to make a comment?
Maybe I could just read that in for the record.
Sure.
This concerns a no parking area out at Gobio Park relating to the boat launch facility. The language that we would be adding to the no parking zone would be the outlet road at Gobio Park from the boat launch to Route 5 on the northeasterly side of said road, except for the areas marked tie down only. So it would be the area generally in front of Mr. Bouffard's home, between the brook and the northern end that ends up coming back out onto Route 5. That's the section that we're going to be adding to the no parking zone.
Any comments from the board? Any other comments from the, more comments from the general public? Okay.
Have we had input, do you know, from the contract deputy on this matter? Or is this something that had been before the Public Safety Committee or Road Review?
I don't believe it's been before either of those. So we could make that happen between now and, actually you're going to vote on this evening. I guess this was such a minor change. It's probably the reason we didn't take it to the Road Review Committee. Talking to Sean, he just needs the local ordinance to be able to, write that ticket on the spot.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, this is something we've been working on for some time, yeah. And to my knowledge, there's been no concerns and no disagreements on public works or anything else. Bob?
Bob Govia. Will this stop this individual from going around with his four-wheeler in our park?
This right by itself,
Go ahead.
answer that? By itself, this will not. Mr. Bouffard does use his little golf cart extensively in there. As you know, he can't walk well. He has called me and said that he appreciates the direction that we're going, and he realizes that he will lose the parking spaces in between his two driveways on both ends of his building. I think he's accepted that, and he says as long as this is enforced, he thinks it'll be a market improvement to the way things are out there now. Will it stop some of the situations with him? Time will only tell.
Because I've seen it, happen that riding around that thing, somebody's going to get hurt in there with that four-wheeler. I don't think he should come in the park with that four-wheeler. He should stay right on his property. Because, I don't think that it's registered, to go out in the road.
Well, I think you'd probably call it a golf cart more accurately than a four-wheeler.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is, a golf cart, I think.
Yeah.
I call it four-wheeler, but...
Yeah.
I think that's something, if it becomes a problem, a concern, Bob, then we'll have to address it.
Okay.
Any other comments? Hearing none, I'll close the hearing. Okay, do we have any announcements? Any additions? Yeah.
I'd just like to make a very brief announcement, maybe a little late, but I'd like to congratulate the Massachusetts girls on winning the championship in lacrosse. I think that it's been in the Reporter and some other news accounts, but I think a notice by the governmental board, wishing them, congratulations is in order.
And they certainly love to take it down to the last second, don't they? Time over time.
It was a nail biter.
They did a great job. Any additions or deletions?
I have one, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Just to sign the liquor license if you do approve it.
Okay.
Simple.
All right, we got that down. All right, appointments. Waterboro Land Trust to discuss donation of Old Central Station. Who would like to speak first? You want to just continue on and then come back to this?
What if we do that?
Okay,
If it's okay.
sure. Any objections to that?
Just a little more expensive to do it.
Okay, all right. Hearing of delegations. Okay, correspondence. We have Representative Libby's newsletter. I noticed that on July 12th, the sound barrier Widow's Sons of Maine ride for the hearing loss. It's a group of motorcyclists raising money for autism. A very good cause. Selectmen reports. Gordon?
I have nothing.
John?
Yes, a few things here. The library will be having their annual book and bake sale, and that will be on the 19th, Saturday, 9 to 1 p.m. So, if you're interested in getting some inexpensive books and some good things to eat, go to the library on the 19th. The community garden, representatives from the community garden are going to be over there at 2:30 tomorrow, some of them, and they're going to be interviewed by the Journal Tribune. The garden, if you've been in there, it's looking good. There's been a lot of work done, and they've put in a new gate today, and it's progressing nicely. I guess what I also want to say is this Saturday is Waterboro Photo Day. So those of you out there that have a camera of any kind, Saturday, go around, take some pictures. Electronically, you can send them into the town. You can get the instructions off the town website. You can get it from the reporter. There's a major advertisement in this week's reporter. There'll be another one on Saturday when the new reporter comes out, and you can get information from the town website. We're looking for any age, a person, photographer, anything that goes on within the town of Waterboro on that day, which is next Saturday, the 12th. Take a picture of it, send it in. Also send your name in with it, so we can give you credit for it. Those pictures will be posted, all of them, but there'll be selections for the posting here at Town Hall. But all of them will be posted, all of them that can be posted will be on the town website in a couple of weeks. So that's coming up this Saturday. Okay, that's it.
Thank you,
If I
John.
could just mention real briefly on that, it's not restricted to digital cameras. If you have a 35 millimeter or medium format camera or whatever, we have the ability to scan in pictures that come from the print side too as well.
Yeah, even if it's your telephone, if it's fairly high resolution, we can put it together. Okay.
Good. Dennis?
I do not have anything, but the
Just quickly, the evaluation forms have been updated. If everybody could get those into Christina, I'll pick them up and consolidate everything middle of next week or something like that.
All right. Tammy Jo.
Last Wednesday evening, New York County Budget Committee turned over the budget to the county commissioners with two slight changes. One of the changes was to remove some benefits that commissioners were getting for health insurance, and the other was to add a $5,000 line to the budget to fund the budget committee. The work of the budget committee, including all of the staff work that needed to be done, producing papers, packets, and whatnot, has all been borne on the town of Alfred. So we thought it was only fair to include some funding in there for the budget committee so that we could have a staff person to do that work and do it independently of the county commissioner's office. The county commissioners rejected the budget, saying that the budget committee did not have the authority to add the $5,000 into the budget, and have kicked the budget back to the budget committee. So the budget committee will meet tomorrow evening at 6:30. If we choose to remove the $5,000, we can do that, or if we choose to leave $5,000 in, then that's the final budget. The concern about leaving the $5,000 in is that even if that money is in the budget, and the budget committee was to hire staff workers to hire somebody to do some staff work, the county commissioners could opt not to sign the warrant to pay that. Much like they did with the social service funding a number of years ago. There was $30,000 put in the budget, and the county commissioners never authorized cutting the check. So regardless, we have to finish up tomorrow night because the commitment has to be made on July 15th. So the budget committee will have a brief meeting and we'll decide what the final budget is tomorrow night.
Is it the sense that this is a retaliatory measure for the reduction in their so-called benefits?
What the commissioner said, particularly Commissioner Sinden, who was most vocal about it, was that the budget committee has no authority to add a line item into the budget, and that the commissioner's office and the staff in the commissioner's office is willing to do the staff work. What we pointed out was that the ruling from Justice O'Neill is that the budget committee is independent of county government, and so we felt it would be better to keep that independence by having an outside staff member do the work.
Gary.
I had a question, Tammy. Do all county commissioners avail themselves of full health insurance benefits?
Per the policy, the county policy, which was approved by the county commissioners, they are termed as full-time employees. You have two, they are entitled to take health insurance. One commissioner, Cabral, does take health insurance. They're also entitled to take retirement, and Commissioner Dutrumbull does take some retirement benefits. Commissioner Sinden, there's a policy in county government that if you do not take health insurance, you get a $3,000 buyout, and Commissioner Sinden has opted to take the $3,000 buyout. He's the only one that takes that buyout. So you have three commissioners that are collecting some kind of a benefit, two that are opting not to collect any benefit at all.
And what is their salary? Do you know that?
I believe they get $9,000 a year.
Gary, do you have a report? I have nothing to.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had 15 applications for the Highway 3 position, and we're very close to having interviews. We hope to hold interviews this Thursday. It was a good selection. There's some tough competition there. We've also posted the Public Works Director's position, and we'll hope to fill that probably going to be late July or early August. The applications for the Public Works Director's position will be due on the 22nd. Switching over to Fire and EMS, we're going to change our dispatch to the Biddeford City Hall as of July 28th. It was going to be the 21st, but it's been moved to the 28th. That seems to be going well. The radios have been reprogrammed, and I think we're pretty much ready to make that switch over happen. We bought some stencils to paint the asphalt out to Gobeil Park concerning the traffic movement out there. We'll also be using those stencils throughout the town. We seem to have access to a paint machine, and we'll be able to make some improvements on the striping and the actual wording on the roads in town here. Code Enforcement Officer Mark Mitchell tells me that we have 15 new homes under construction since January 1st, which when you compare it with last year is 2 more than all of the calendar year of 2013. So that's good to see. Continue to spend a lot of time digging into the retirement options. What used to be called the Maine State Retirement System is now called M.R.S.A, or Public Employees Retirement System. And we thought that was all ready to go, but we found out that because we have a simple IRA, IRS regs don't allow us to just make the quick switch in the same year. So I'm going to have a meeting with the Maine PERS director, deputy director, Steve Harlow, our local rep for financial products, Matt Bors and myself on Thursday the 17th to discuss the next steps, and we may have to delay joining the Maine State Retirement System until January 1st, but I'm still hopeful that we'll have that as well as a lower cost product for employees that don't want to join that system. We've been extremely busy in the front lobby here. I'm told that this is seasonal and expected, but for hours at a time, the line has been right up to the front door. With vacation time and with Yvette out, Christina has jumped in, and God bless her for her skills and abilities to go out there and help out in those situations, because everybody's been trying to take a little bit of time off as well around the holiday here. So it's very much appreciated what you've been doing for us. 380 30-day notices were mailed out today for tax liens for 2013 unpaid taxes that were not paid on last October or this April. And the last thing I have, our charter mandated that we create a crisis fund, and we did that last year. $1.1 million that was set aside. It's kind of on paper now, and I think we need to have some discussion over the next few weeks here with our auditor and actually put that in a separate account, an interest-bearing account for whatever we can get. But we need to be able to get our hands on that money if a special town meeting should ever need it, so we don't want to lock it up in a long-term security. That's it from me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, we go back to the Waterboro Land Trust and discussion of donation of the old central fire station. Doug?
The Waterboro Land Trust has requested that we take over possession of what's commonly known as the Center Waterboro Fire Station. As all of you know, some years ago, $25,000 was set aside for that to be turned into some kind of a youth center. The money has since been spent elsewhere, and the building is in a state of deterioration. There's some stuff stored in it. Some of it belongs to the Historical Society and goes in their blacksmith shop. From time to time, the state puts a boat in there, and the fire department has had some stuff in there. And I've talked with Matt, and he says that they can get along without it. We'd like to take the building and renovate it, make it a usable structure, and make it something on the line of a building that could be used to advertise the land trust and advertise other happenings in town, kind of like a central advertising spot, and it would give us a place to call home and make meetings on a regular basis there. The roof needs to be repaired. There's no heating system in it anymore. It's just generally deteriorating and going downhill. I think this would make an excellent use of the building, and we could fix it so that it would represent the town of Waterboro and put a better face on the town of Waterboro. Address it probably as the old fire station
slash new land trust, take out the bigger of the overhead doors and put some kind of a front in there that would allow an on-cove affair, that something could be advertised in there. Plus, we've already voted to put up 3 4x4 covered billboards outside for people who are walking up the mountain. Jimmy Carl was nice enough to write us a paper on it and some photos, and we will have a trail showing people who want to walk or bike up the mountain, and we'll put signs going up the mountain as where they are and what the historical significance of where they are, and mileage markers so they know how far they've gone and how far they're going to go. So this would serve the purpose of our property on the mountain very well, and its central location makes it ideal for the land trust and for an informational center for the town.
Discussions?
And this seems to be going right in the direction that we've been talking about as far as, I mean, one of the things we've been talking about in the future of Waterboro is that we would love to have this place as a kind of a destination place for recreation, and this is a step in that direction. And the thing that you mentioned, Doug, that I was concerned about, and that is that it's also open for advertising other things going on in the town of Waterboro. So, you know, so people could come in, see a bulletin board of some sort and see things that are happening in Waterboro, and take a folder or something like that. So it would be land trust and Waterboro. So is that the way you see it?
Well, kind of, you know, on the lines of a Chamber of Commerce building where you can, you know, people can put advertising in there, and yet it gives us a home base to work out of. Does anybody else want to get up here and talk?
How doing? Fine.
We got other members here that
They were
ideas they want.
they were already
So it's
pretty mum when you weren't here to speak for them.
What's that?
I said they were all pretty quiet when you weren't here to speak for them when you came up.
You know, we don't seem to have a central area for advertising what the town has to offer, and we do have a lot to offer, and we need to you know, show people what we got in the ideal location. Well, that's as close to an ideal location as you're going to find. And it goes along with the area that the town has invested a lot of money in, that being the Taylor House, and preserving what's left of that corner. And, you know, this keeps it, it would be, as with the other deeds, it would revert back to the town if anything happened to the land trust. But we do have, you know, funds available to do this work, as well as an energized group that will help do it. We have, this all comes at a pretty ideal time. As you all know, we have a lease that started off with the town and now has been transferred to us, which expires on August of this year. And we've just received the request for an additional 10-year land lease, which will guarantee us some income for 10 more years. So, you know, and all of this seems to blend together nicely. I think with what we can do, I think we can turn that building from something that's not friendly looking into something that really looks friendly and welcomes people to the town.
Now, with the informational center, Doug, will there be public bathrooms there? People stop and can they use them? How's that going to work?
I can't tell you that there is. Okay? I can tell you that the idea would be to fix the building up, put in some kind of a central heating system, and there is additional land there that's treed, but you know, we could clear that and make more space, and hopefully in the future we'd be able to make it more of a of a place for people to want to stop, even if it's for, using public restrooms. I can't tell you, David, that that would be done. I can tell you that that would be certainly looked at, and the goal would be to make it as people-friendly as possible. And, I would think that that would be in the realm of what we would do. But
Yeah, well,
maybe
I
not
just,
tomorrow.
if you said no, it wasn't gonna ever be, then I would be concerned, but, I mean, it could be and probably will be.
I mean, we might say to the town, we would be willing, once we get this thing fixed up, and we get it nice, do you want to set a couple porta potties up there for public use, and maybe Mike through the Parks and Rec would be interested in doing that. I'm not sure that we'd have the money to put in water, and then you got to maintain it year round, and but it certainly would be something we would be looking into. If you look at the roof, excuse me, Dennis.
Is there a, I want to say this, does it matter whether it's a transfer ownership or on a 99-year lease or whatever, like we've done with most of the other facilities and land and everything else in the municipality? I mean, is that something that, I mean, I understand that the deeds can always be written so that if something happened to the land trust that it would come back, but I think in all the other instances where, in fact, the land use, I mean, the snowmobile club and the ATV club are leases, 99-year lease. I think is Taylor House a lease? Taylor House is a lease.
99-year
right?
lease, I believe.
The Lions building is a 99-year lease, so why wouldn't we pursue that same angle here and just say this is a piece of property that's leased to the land trust for whatever? I mean, what's the advantage to say we transfer the ownership versus the...
Well, we went to town meeting on authorization for land transfers before, and the wheels are already set in motion by the deeds that were written for them transfers for this to be done on the same line, and the board has the authority to do that. So a 99-year lease, the transfer of ownership is only on paper. It's still, I don't know the correct word to use, it's reversed. It's taken back by the town if anything goes wrong. We can't ever sell it or lease it or indebt it. So it just seems like that's the way the paperwork has been started. And personally, I'm not opposed to either way. I don't know. How about the rest of you folks? Yes.
The deed that they received from the town has a revisionary
That's what I was
clause in
looking
it,
for.
Okay.
that should they go to fund, then everything comes back to the town versus leasing.
Anybody have any? No?
We just never discussed this.
So, I mean, we'd like to take possession of the building. What vehicle you use to give possession to us, I guess, is at the discretion of the board. The revisionary clause, I think, is the same thing as a 99-year lease. I don't think, and I hope that none of us are here in 99 years to see if it comes to fruition. I think that if we're here in 99 years, it's going to be a sad situation.
In spirit, Doc, in spirit.
New medical breakthroughs every year.
Gary, would there be an issue as far as liability? And the other, if the town deeds the building to the land trust, we're done. We have no concerns.
Yes.
If we were to lease, what is our liability if somebody were to get hurt or something would happen on the property? Can any of that fall back on the town if we just do a 99-year lease?
Good question. I would think your exposure would be more, but I don't know if it would be
Well, it would be no more
Substantial.
than the snowmobile club or the ATV club or
I mean, we're
the
covered
Lions
for those
Club or
things
anything
now.
else. I mean, all of those procedures are in place too, in the words relative to. I think the difference that I would see is that in the leases, I think you just, there has to be some. If you decided you were going to add a second story, or I mean, those are the kind of things that have to at least come back to the municipality, because I know like Lions has to come back to us if the fundamental use is going to change, and I think they were concerned when the doctors moved out that they still had some medical presence there and whatnot, but because that lease is very specific to that. But.
Yeah, I think it gives them a little bit more flexibility for any kind of major structural changes or anything like that, if you own it rather than leasing it.
I guess my concern, or my thought is, we have a building that we have not been taking care of. We don't have the funds to do all of the infrastructure needs in the community that we need to take care of. We have an organization that's coming forward that's saying, here's a building that has historic value to the town. We're willing to take ownership of it. We're willing to invest the money in it. I guess my thought is I would rather see us outright donate it to the land trust and be out from under it.
I'm not sure donate's the word that I've used, but deeded over with the revisionary clause in there. I think donation has the connotation that it's a permanent thing.
I think the
Question of semantics, maybe.
yeah, and I think it's a matter of, I can't remember the wording of the articles way back 7 or 8 years ago, and the transfer of ownership of those lots was to the land trust, and that was specific that had the revisionary clause. So, I mean, I think it's probably 6 of one, half a dozen the other, but I'm just, is there any benefit one way or the other, whether it's a 99-year lease or whether it's a transfer of ownership?
I'd just point out to you that the Taylor House, that has a 99-year lease to the Historical Society, but when we had the earthquake and it took the chimney down, and when you did your insurance audit, that all fell under that because you were the owners of it. And it went through the town's insurance. So I think if you leased it and you wanted them to hold it, you'd have to have specific wording within the lease, not saying that they couldn't hold it, but you'd want to receive a
So
copy of it to make sure.
would that happen if the snowmobile club,
I don't know
something
how
happened to that?
Well, I think the
After the lease,
the club owns the building.
Right.
The town owns the land.
same as the ATV,
Right,
they brought in their building.
right.
So there is a little difference in the two properties.
Gary?
I had a question, just because I'm probably so new here, but the right turn that goes right in front of the fire station there with the monument and the triangle out there, would it be beneficial to think about having that right turn lane move out and be a second full lane in the path of traffic coming south on Route 5 so that you gain more driveway in front of the fire station? Or is that triangle sacred property, if you will?
That's a 55-gallon can of worms. We've, they tried to widen Route 5 and fix the intersection of the old Alfred Road. I have the plans if you'd like to look at them. And the fact that the Taylor House was turned over put on the National Historic Register cost us the improvements on that intersection. And if you was to close off that one-way road, we had a very large debate back in the early 2000s about that used to be two ways. And, we pushed for that to go, and finally Bob got on board and the Board of Selectmen, and we pushed that to have that go one way up only. Yes, the land would be good, but that would create such a traffic nightmare for cars waiting to turn right. It works very well right now, and without the land to create a second or a wider entrance onto the old Alfred Road for right turn and traffic. The state just picked up their $250,000 and went away. Do you all remember that? They wouldn't play in our ballpark because they couldn't get 6 feet of land turned over from the National Historic Registry group. Wouldn't allow that to happen. So it's been talked about. It was talked about picking the monument up and moving the monument in back of the Taylor House and eliminating that whole thing and making where the fire department, the building that we're talking about, and the monument area. They talked about moving the monument over where the road is now and making that a large park. And then we made that one way, and that's worked very well. And I don't see that if we do anything now, the town's going to have to pay for it, and I don't see that money becoming available. I mean, we have a very serious problem. The work the state just done in the intersection is a Band-Aid approach to fixing it. The approach was to take down the house and make the intersection more turnable, if you will. But there's a serious problem there.
Thank you.
Do you know what's going to become of the sign that's currently on the property? I think it gives some historical background on the 1947 fire and so forth. Is that going to be restored as well?
I would think that it would be in the best interest of everybody if that was restored. And if those of you that remember it, years ago we had a much better sign that gave much more details about the 47 fire. And I think that we could put up something that was more historically significant and correct on one of our billboards that we're going to put up. I have an original newspaper that I bought some years ago of the 1947 fire. And it's in pretty good shape. And that would, things like that would add to the interest of people stopping and reading these things, as well as, the floods that have taken place.
Now, a lot of those periodicals and stuff like that you can have set in acrylic now that preserve them from the yellowing effect on newspapers and stuff, and really adds a lot to the historical perspective.
Any other questions or concerns by the board or the delegation?
Does it require a motion at this time, Mr. Chairman?
I would think so, yes.
All right, I'll make a motion.
You get that under new business.
It's on the
No,
agenda.
but I'm gonna.
Oh, it's on the agenda already, okay.
Yeah. I thought you meant to move on. Excuse me. Any other concerns you have, Doug?
Not about that, but we're still kind of waiting. We have no entrance to our property on 202, known as the Boy Scout lot. And in '95, the Board of Selectmen voted to turn that back, the old road back, and Mr. Wilson and Mr. Layton were supposed to deed over land and agreed to build a road into that property, which it's, creeping up onto 20 years and nothing's been done by them. So I'd just like to bring that to the board's attention, because I'm sure that Mr. Wilson deeded 25 feet of land over, but the Laytons have not.
Now, where is this located, Doug? I'm not familiar with it.
You know where Layton's garage is? Well, back this side of there. It's the old 202 that went in by the old Gagnon garage. And if you see where he's got the cars parked out, trucks for sale, that's old 202.
Yeah.
And it goes by the Wayside Chapel and comes back out down below the Wayside Chapel a ways. The Board of Selectmen closed that and deeded that land back over to the abutters. And the Boy Scouts back, well, Bimmy was part of it, I think, Bob Fay and Fred, and all planted that lot down there sometime in the early 50s. and they call it the Boy Scout lot. It's a 10-acre lot, it's pine trees on it, but we now have no access to it. So,
Yeah, which Layton, is this west?
west. Yeah. It abutted Richard and Lillian Gagnon, Roger and Gilda Wilson, the Wayside Chapel, as well as Mr. Chevette. And so that needs to be, I think 19 years is probably giving them time enough to put a small driveway in there for us to get into our property. But we have no authority over it because it was done by the Board of Selectmen.
David, that's on my to-do list. Diane saw me months ago on that, and I just haven't got to it, so that's my job.
And the last thing is that the Land Trust annual meeting will be held at Bald Fay Memorial Park on the 23rd of July at 5:30. We're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs and soft drinks and any other drinks you bring with you. And it's open to the public. I'd like to have the board come up and see the work that we've done up there. We fixed the erosion spot. It's that's what, 2 weeks from tomorrow night. So it's open to the public. There'll be plenty to eat. And then we'll have a short meeting and have election of officers. 5:30? 5:30 p.m., Wednesday, July 23rd.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Going into new business. Discuss and vote to approve proposed amendments to the Parking and Traffic Ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded that we approve the proposed amendments to the Parking and Traffic Ordinance.
Now, do we have to move that as an emergency ordinance so it goes into effect right away?
The answer to that? That's a very good question.
I would think the criteria is met for that to happen as an emergency, because if we allow the existing practice to continue down there, I think it's just going to exacerbate the current negativity revolving around there with the present landowner and the users of the park.
Shall be in effect 30 days after passage, unless to meet public emergencies, you have to declare that emergency. I don't know that this fits the level of that, quite frankly. We still have work to do to get things done down there, so I would be fine with 30-day waiting period. It would take us a couple of weeks to get signs and get the other painting done down there.
Does that satisfy your concerns, Terry?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the proposed amendments to the Parking and Traffic Ordinance. Those in favor? 5-0. Okay. Discuss and vote on donation of the old central station to the Waterboro Land Trust.
I move that we deed the property over to the land trust for the uses as specified in the remarks made by Mr. Fogel.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded that we donate the land, was it donate or what did you say? Give, transfer ownership of the old central fire station. Any discussion?
Well, I guess so that we have the, what was it, Revisionary clause.
Revisionary clause, that includes the revisionary clause, is that what you're looking for?
We need that specific language, I'll amend my motion to include the envisioner clause.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Those in favor of that motion? 5-0. All right, discuss and vote on new board and committee appointments. You people don't have to sit here for that if you don't want to, but
Oh, it's nice to have faces looking back at us.
I had that list somewhere. Do you have your list with you, folks? And do you see any needs for changes or deletions here?
The one comment I have is the 2020 comprehensive planning. I'm the alternate for that, and that always falls on the same meeting night as 12 town group, so it's not a meeting I could ever attend.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to, I'm there and you're there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I know if somebody else wanted to be the alternate,
Oh, okay.
whereas I wouldn't ever be available for that. I'm the
All right.
key holder, and
All right, anyone else have a,
Well, I think you jumped, we're talking two different things here. Aren't we on C?
C?
Right.
The three folks who we interviewed.
yeah, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry.
Discuss and vote new board and committee appointments.
People we met with this evening.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So this is John Buddy.
Yeah.
Andrew
No,
Doyle.
that's another one on the agenda.
That's
This is the Doyle, Verlander, and Demers.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take the easiest one first. I guess I would move that we appoint Kelly Demers to the library.
I'll second that. Oh, are you gonna do one at a time, or are you gonna do all of them together?
Well, I think there was, on the other two, during our discussions, it might lead us to believe that they may not participate in all
Yeah.
the things that they necessarily applied for.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Kelly Demers be appointed to the library. Any discussion? Those in favor of that motion? 5-0.
I will move that we appoint Andrew Doyle to the Budget Committee. Is that, I believe, was that the major one that we were talking about there? Gary?
He was interested in Public Safety Committee to start, and then adding Budget and Economic Development Committee later on if he finds it
Okay.
he's able to do that.
So the start, he was looking at,
He felt the public safety one was the most important, but
thought
there may
that was
be a circumstance where that may change.
My understanding of it was that you're right, he did feel that that was the most important, but that because of work commitments, he would not be able to make any of the meetings, and therefore he said probably the budget one would be the best for him now, because it's not in session right now. It wouldn't be till this fall now.
He doesn't know if that's going to come to
Yeah, that's
fruition.
I got the impression that we'd go with the public safety one first.
Yeah.
and Go from there.
I got the impression with you gotten, but
the public safety was his first choice?
no, I thought budget was.
Okay.
Let's just appoint him to all three, then we can take care of it. All right, no. All right, so you feel it's public safety, Tammy?
Yes.
And Dennis? Okay, would you want to make a motion for that, John?
Sure. I'll move that we put Andrew Doyle on the Public Safety Committee.
Second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded that Andrew Doyle be appointed to the Public Safety Committee. Any discussion? Those in favor? 5-0. Megan Verlander.
I'd make a motion that we appoint Megan Verlander to the Assessing Board of Review and the Budget Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, been moved and seconded that Megan Verlander be appointed to the Assessing Board of Review and Budget Committee. Any discussion? Those in favor? 5-0. All right. So that was C. D, discuss vote on reappointment of John Wade to the Economic Development Committee.
So have we confirmed where he's living now?
Yes, we've confirmed residency here. I don't think he owns property, but he's registered a vehicle here. I can't remember if he's registered to vote or not, but he does live here.
He's living up on Northeast Road.
So I would make a motion that we appoint John Wade to the public, well, he has public service. Wasn't he on the
EDC.
2020, the EDC?
Yeah, he's asking for reappointment to the EDC.
Right.
It's under
Okay,
D.
so I'd make a motion, we appoint John Wade to the EDC.
So move. Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded, John Wade be reappointed to the Economic Development Committee. Any discussion on that? Those in favor? 5-0. All right. Discuss and vote on Selectmen liaison assignments. And there's a need, Tammy raised a concern on conflict of meetings. Would anyone else like to be an alternate for that 2020?
Alternate on which committee?
2020
2020.
usually meets Monday nights, right, Diane? Yeah.
Second one.
I don't know if we need one, but why don't you just stay on it and don't worry about it.
Okay.
That-
I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
no,
ever make the
I know,
meeting, so.
I know. Okay, any other concerns?
No, I
Does
think we're
anyone-
gonna have to revisit the transfer station recycling committee, but that's a different issue.
Yeah. Is there any committee that someone did not get that they would like to serve on?
I'm flexible on whatever, if there's a shortage and lack of interest in a particular area, I'd be happy to fill in there. I'm happy with the library. I'm happy the community garden. I've done the, haven't been as active, but usually get to one or two of the cemetery committee meetings. If anybody else is interested in that and wants to take that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'd be happy to stay with that. And I think I periodically also go to the transfer station committee. So there's two of us on that.
Okay.
And so I can, if anybody wants any one of those, I'd be happy to trade off or whatever. But
So with the lack of any change, I move that we keep the vote, the list the same as we have in the past.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded that we keep the list as is. Any other discussion? Those in favor? 5-0. All right. Discuss and vote accept a resignation from a member of the planning board. I believe this is Tim Nelson, right?
With serious regrets, but he just can't do it anymore. Work schedule.
Yeah. And has not been able to attend for several months.
Well, I would move to accept Tim's resignation with regrets.
Have a second?
second.
Okay, moved and seconded that we accept Tim Nelson's resignation from the planning board. Any other discussion? Those in favor? Okay, carried. Discuss and vote to schedule a public hearing to consider required amendments to the General Assistance Ordinance effective July 1st, 2014. What's your wish on that?
This is just to set the public hearing. I don't see why we can't do it 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay.
It's minor changes, the things you see annually in the compensation back to the town.
Okay, so on July 22nd, Christina? Okay.
So do we have to vote on that according to this, or?
You have to set the public hearing tonight, that's all. Yeah.
I'll make a motion then we set the public hearing for July 22nd.
All right.
Second.
Second. Been moved and seconded that we have a public hearing to consider the required amendments to the Journal Assistance Office. That'll be held on July 22nd. Those in favor? 5-0. Discuss and vote on free transfer station services for local nonprofits such as churches.
Well, Clint kicked this off with me here, oh gosh, a few weeks ago now, and telling me that one or more churches are doing good work in collecting things from people and having recycled goods go back to folks, but it's also collecting a whole lot of waste. And I guess there was an agreement, maybe informally, between my predecessor and these churches that they could bring those things that they did not need and could not use to the transfer station at no charge. And it seems though that's kind of gotten out of hand. And Clint can come up and speak in more detail, and you might as well hear from him. But some of these things aren't even coming from Waterboro residents, and I think the Board of Selectmen needs to address that and maybe come somewhere near, they can bring things at no charge just like everybody else can, because it's excessive from what I've heard, so.
All right. Clint?
Well, I don't want to be the bad man, but like Mark, the code enforcement officer, he came to me and he said, do I have room for 2 buildings down there? Which I guess some of that's changed now, but, you know, I kept thinking, well, you know, Laughing Loom, they had 24 by 12 buildings they've already brought in. I mean, it just, every time these churches remodel or these different organizations, they just bring this stuff in free. Now, a lot of the stuff over there for the church going up the West Road, that all came in free. What I get worried about is, you know, it's like Mike called up and he said, I got to have a container for the fence down at the ball field. Well, that fence cost us almost $1,000, $996, I think was the actual figure. So if you start tearing buildings down, it could really wallop my budget. That's what I'm worried about. You know, it can be overdrawn fast. So
If it's a town project like Mike's,
well, I don't mind. I don't.
it's
You
like
know,
taking your money out of one pocket and putting it in the other.
That's right.
I mean, it's.
That's right, but that's what kind of woke me up. And then he said, well, we got 2 buildings to bring in. So,
2 town buildings or what?
well, I don't know. I guess they're going down Route 5.
Well, it's not town property though.
Well, there
Mark said that, you mean?
may be
Yeah,
one of them
Mark.
that we foreclosed on. I'm not positive, but
He said there were 2 buildings. That's all I can tell you. And he said, would you have room for it? And I said, well, not really.
Well, this goes back to making sure that everybody knows what's going on, right? And it doesn't sound to me like we do. It's
Yeah.
he said, she said, we said, right?
Mark, it's not 7 yet. You want me to see if Mark's still over there in his office?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of those buildings you're going to try to give it away or something now was the last that I heard.
well, that's a fine idea, but after walking through it, I doubt there'll be many takers.
Yeah.
He's already gone.
Needs a cup of gasoline and a match ideally, but it's too close to the road to do that.
So ultimately, it's a matter of, that's an interdepartment thing, right?
Well, that, yes, but, you know,
So
you add this all together, what I'm saying
I don't
is
see
this
that we're
could add-
gonna get involved as a board on whether or not, you know, Parks and Rec or somebody else takes a building down, and that's, I think, between you and the department heads. But,
Okay, I thought the thrust this evening was just to talk more about the church's situation, which I'm curious about and how we're going to solve that.
I don't know.
So-
I mean, this is paperwork. This started last July 1st. I think it's maybe the 7th. They started bringing, they're supposed to all bring in a paper, That's the way that Nancy had it set up. Well, actually, this goes back to when Doug and Willis and Bob Fay were selectmen.
10 years ago,
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Well,
Well,
you know,
it-
I think that we're at a point in time where financially we have to be very prudent.
That's right.
Our revenues have decreased, our expenditures have increased, and I don't think that we can afford to be supporting organizations bringing in huge amounts of trash and debris and whatnot at taxpayer dollars. So I would make a motion that we no longer allow for that type of dumping. If they're going to be utilizing the facility, they have to pay like everybody else in town.
I will second that, with the little bit different reason in that I think it's problematic in, you don't know when a church, the people that go to the church bring their trash, they're from out of town, they bring their stuff to the church uses it as its own trash. That's a possibility. Also, there's a possibility, one of the things that some anti-tax people did back in the 60s is they made it easy that you could proclaim your house a church by becoming a minister, and you could become a minister for $20.
Amen, brother.
And therefore you could start bringing household stuff down there free. So I mean, there's possibilities of that makes it complicated. So I agree with Tammy, but a little different reason. It just makes it simpler for us to just say no.
Would it be beneficial, I know it'd be a lot simpler just to make a decision here tonight, to discuss this issue with the
That's
churches?
what I was going to say before we just unilaterally make a decision.
I do know in the North Waterboro situation that people they're abusing it. They're bringing stuff and they're from out of town as well as in town. And they're just dropping stuff off on the way to work or whatever. And, you know, it's useless, the stuff they're leaving there. So it sounds like a little more of a monitoring, policing situation on the part of the church, you know. So I guess I would encourage us to allow some communication here with these groups before we make a hard, fast decision. We may end up in the very same
Yeah, I mean,
point.
you're right, but I think at least maybe we can have some sort of a sit-down forum with them and, you know, what are their plans? I mean, are they
Well,
going to continue to do it? Are they reached a choke point where it's becoming more of a burden than what they're able to give? I don't know. And how many churches are we? There's what, 5, 6 churches in town? So.
Well, the one down by Layton's there, I mean, we took all of their carpeting, and I mean, they remodeled the kitchen or something because they brought cabinets in there for weeks, you know, pieces they were tearing out of somewhere.
But the weekly things is just
Yeah.
pretty much down to one that runs the,
Yeah, we just had
Second
one
church.
come in, a church that moved somebody into an apartment somewhere, and all the stuff that came out of the apartment came in through the church.
See, I guess I have issues with that. To me, the typical refuse from a church is one thing, but when you are getting into outside activities like apartments or major clothing or toys or whatever, that is something else again. That's over and above what I call.
We take a lot of TV from the one up in North Waterboro. I mean, I don't want to pound on him because, you know, they do.
They do a lot of good,
They
but
do a
on the
lot
other
of
hand,
good,
they're costing
And
the
they help
town
the
money.
town. They help the town. But I know people have told me from Limerick and in Arrowhead, well, we just take it down there and leave it. We don't have to pay for it that way. You know.
That's what I see as an abuse, is their end run around.
And I talked to Tim, and he said, well, as far as he doesn't know really what to do about it, and how to, you know, handle the whole thing. But I don't either. But
And I don't think there's gonna, this is gonna break a nonprofit to pay for the transfer station. And what it does, if you allow it open to nonprofits, then you have all sorts of potential problems.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor. If there's any other discussion before we, and it was seconded. Those in favor? Those opposed? 3, 2,
That was 2 to 3.
yeah.
Just for the record, I'm opposed only in the sense that I think that your suggestion that we have a sit-down conversation with them first before we do a hard and fast thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would
Yeah.
certainly be in agreement that we shouldn't have that as a burden for the taxpayer.
Right.
Want me to do that for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Clint.
Thank you, Clint.
Discuss and vote to approve renewal of the state malt and vinous liquor license for Lee's Family Restaurant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moving and seconded to approve the license for Lee's Family Restaurant. Any discussion on that? There's been no complaints or anything, right?
That's right.
Okay, those in favor? Okay, 5-0. Discuss and review the annual town meeting.
Time has come to look at this thing differently, I think. But I'm just not sure that, I mean, there's nothing that we can do immediately, but if we're at least looking at another town meeting structured the same way that this one went. And, but I think that somewhere along the line we have to make some, or at least entertain some move to a different process. And the charter does have provisions in it to move to a referendum ballot for budget purposes. That requires a petition and things of that nature to at least initiate it, but it doesn't say who can or can't initiate that. I think any citizen can, but I just think that I mean, if you look at this from the last 5 or 6 years, it's just, I think those people that love to come to town meeting, come to town meeting, right? And it will be, if you stop town meeting, you'll see,
Some grumbling.
some grumbling on regard to that. But, when you've got 4,000 voters and 8,000 people in a municipality and, 60 of them, not even 60, 40 of them show up
35 last one.
to vote.
Would this be something, with this fall's election, to take some kind of an informal survey at the, have a
Well, there could be.
questionnaire type thing at the
This, I
election?
think Gary, it says at the end of this, right?
Could do a non-binding question.
Yeah,
There's a provision that you could run it at the November meeting, but you've got, I think it was 600 and some odd signatures that got to be.
well, I was thinking not necessarily a petition, but as Gary said, non-binding
Non-binding.
questionnaire.
That still doesn't get you way in. If the non-binding says overwhelmingly yes, people agree we should move, we still have to go back through the petition process.
Right.
I was talking to some selectmen and whatnot in other communities and asking them how their town meetings went. And it was the same thing across the board. Everybody is having problems with getting attendance at town meetings, with getting people to volunteer on town committees. I mean, everything that we sit here every week and we talk about and we struggle with, it's not just us. It's everybody that's around us too. I have concerns about moving to a referendum type of a vote for the budget. I love town meeting, but I understand also that maybe it is coming time for us to do things that are different. Maybe not just going the referendum vote, maybe looking more at a at a town council or something along those lines. But it's sad when statewide and even nationally you hear that there's such apathy from people and their involvement in their communities.
But what's interesting is that in talking with people, is that they do feel frustrated, they feel uninformed, and yet they're not willing to step up, speak out, or act. And I really think a part of it is obviously a lifestyle, but a lot of people are working to survive today. And the economic situation is, I feel, much more bleak than what we're being led to. And people just seem to be working all the time. And so it's sort of a catch-22. Over the course of the last 20 or 30 years, we have surrendered our rights, basically, by not being involved. And I just think things have happened that's beyond what they feel is their control. And I don't know how you get the people back involved again to make them feel empowered. But it is a problem everywhere. It really is.
I think one of the struggles, and you hear it in some municipalities, and I think and maybe we're living in a bubble, but I think that we're a pretty open government board. You know, we vote on things publicly, maybe sometimes to the extreme publicly, right? So people do have the ability to follow what's going on just by tuning in here now. Well, it used to be every week, but every other week now. So I think that there's a pretty good move, and has been, I don't know, for the last number of years, with being a pretty open and public board in how we run things here. I don't know if you can say that with every community, but I think it's the case here. But so I get a little frustrated when people get on the negative side and say, well, we can't control anything, we don't know what's going on, blah blah blah, and that really goes back against the grain a little bit. There's plenty to know what's going on if you choose to know what's going on.
Yeah, you got to
right?
do a little work.
So I think is if we don't do anything, there'll be us 6 on the dais, right, and the town clerk and her assistant and the moderator. So
And David.
filming, right?
Christine.
So because I think if you look at it, we're losing the 10 or 12 or 20% each year. I mean, let's go back to the when we were in the auditorium over to M.R.S.A, that was how many years ago, and you might have 100 people or 110 people, and then the next year it was 90, and then the next year it was 8. I mean, just look at the LD1 secret ballot votes. I mean, it's every year it's going to get to the point where there's going to be more non-residents sitting in the room that work for us than residents that are voting. So I just think that it's if we take the opportunity to do a non-binding referendum in November, maybe that at least sends us a message. But if we want to go to referendum budgeting, that has to be done through a petition to change or to implement that as part of the charter. It's theirs as part of the charter. If you want to move to council of that's another charter commission.
Both of those would be. That's a substantial change.
Well, the budgeting piece isn't. The budgeting piece is allowed in the charter. It tells you how to.
Without a charter commission.
Without a charter commission.
Okay.
It says that you can move from town meeting, changing town meeting government. I can't remember what the thing says, and they shut it off now. But that, then I think if you pull that all out, there's a methodology, and the charter commission knew that may very well be, we may be facing that music. So
So one is maybe a short term or an interim step. The other one's a charter commission, and in the way that the state law now reads, a charter commission, to establish a charter commission, we're going to have to do it at either gubernatorial or a presidential election, because it's the only way that we're going to get enough votes. Not plus votes and minus votes, enough votes, right, to qualify, and then you got to wait 2 years to do it again. Because you'll never get a third, I think it is a third of the gubernatorial election or whatever. I mean, it's a substantial amount of votes that just have to show up. So it's probably at least a minimum of a 3-year process to get a charter change.
One of the other things that's interesting is last week we had the meeting here with Angus King and the business roundtable, and there were a number of business owners that said that they have jobs. They have jobs available. They have good jobs available. But they're having problems finding people to work because there is no engagement in the current generation. They're not interested in working nights. They're not interested in working weekends or holidays. They want that Monday through Friday kind of 8 to 4 sort of a thing. So I kind of think that almost that even plays into what we're talking about, because that just shows you where the attitude is these days.
The annual town meeting, you look at the past 10 years, you know it's headed out. The only thing that is going to change if there's an aberration, and the aberration is where there's a great deal of conflict, people will come for that. Other than that, it's headed down. So that's one thing. A referendum budgeting, the problem with that is that you do it once. If you need to come back and have some changes made in the middle of the year, it's devilish hard to do that because you got to go through another referendum, and it's expensive and it's time consuming. So it's not a real good way to go. It may be something that we do for a year or two. I think we're headed for town council, and I think it's probably it may be 3 years away, or it may be 5 years away, but I think that is the most flexible form of government. Unfortunately, it's the least involved by the people themselves. The only thing they do is elect their councilors and show up at meetings when there's controversy. So that, unfortunately, has the least amount of involvement. However, it's the most flexible form of government.
Well, next year we could have at the very end of the warrant, the townhouse, let's have a vote on paper bag, bring back paper bag, and I bet you we'll have a ton of people at town meeting.
Yeah, and then when we get to that article, it said we're not
We're just
really going to
kidding.
vote on it. We're just kidding.
Oh, that's a good. I like that, Tim. All right, I guess we beat that to death.
Yeah, but at some point we got to stop talking and we got to do something about
I
it.
know.
But I'm not sure.
I'm not too particularly fond of the referendum budgeting because it's either an up or down vote, and it doesn't allow for any discussion on the articles, whether to reduce a particular article or what. If you have a budget that's essentially good, but there's one particular article that people don't agree on, then they vote no, and it does not allow, I think you're right, it does not allow that flexibility that a council may have to go up and down, or the town meeting to go up and down.
Well, town meeting can't go up the way that we.
Well, they can't go up, right,
right?
but they can cut.
So the real argument is it better to have that discussion on the floor with 5 people,
Yeah.
or to have more people voice their opinion in the ballot box?
But if you have something show up in the middle of the year, happen in the middle of the year where you need to take some action, now you don't put together a special town meeting and can do it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but I think
it's going to take you a month and
I
a
think you
half.
still have that flexibility to have a special town meeting.
I would say that you do. I don't know for sure, but I mean, other towns do this. You know, and I'm sure they have issues arise.
I mean, I hate special town meetings, but that's another story.
David, can
Yeah.
I just wanted to go on record saying I love the town meeting form of government, and I fought like a caged animal in the town of Sanford to keep it. But after a while, people just weren't coming, and it was time to go. And I joined the crowd to turn to a town council, and from what I saw after one time here, I think you're right, we're headed for something different here. It's just a matter of time.
And that was, I mean, that was a step of, you know, how long was there a town, you had to be a town meeting member? I mean, they ran that structure for how many years?
Yeah, you went from 147 town meeting members elected by geography down to 99, and even the 99 wasn't working.
Yeah.
Well, certainly something needs to be done, and we need to consider this over the next few months, you know? I mean, if we're gonna do something in November, we need to have something ready for that, or we can wait till next June. Okay. Under other, discuss, vote, approve the minutes of the June 24th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the meetings of June 24th. Those in favor?
I abstain. I
Yeah,
wasn't-
there was only 3 of us here, right? So 3-0, 302.
302.
Pending decisions. Town charter change to establish Public Works Department.
Well, I think once we get a public works director hired, we'll take this item off the agenda in the future, so
Okay.
well on our way to making that happen.
Week's action list. Items to be thrown out here. This is for 2 weeks from now. We're gonna have a public hearing for the general assistance. Have the charitable groups come in for the transfer station.
I'll start with North Waterboro and meet with
Okay.
them.
Okay.
And then I maybe report in 2 weeks and see where we are.
All right.
Do you want to continue the discussion of a November question? And if we're going to do that, we should be
Gotta do it.
talking about it regularly
I
here.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you go out and let's test the waters of the general public and come back with some ideas.
Week's action, we gotta set up that public hearing for the general assistance.
Right.
I'll follow up with the new committee members.
Okay, good, thank you. Anything else you think of? You got
Me.
Okay. We do have to sign stuff here at the end. Discussion for agenda items.
Can we review the status of the dilapidated abandoned buildings so that we can see where we are with that? Because I was under the impression that some were gonna be demolished and they haven't been. No, nothing's been, wasn't Patco gonna take care of the one that they own? And it just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of movement on, you know, beautifying the community by removing.
I don't know, we need to get Mark in here. Maybe let's put that on the agenda for the 22nd then. Give me any report on that. I don't have all that information. I went to one of those buildings, a little one with the mattress kind of sticking up real close to the road. And Doug had a good idea, but I don't know if we'd have any takers of somebody to come and take it for the old wood. I just don't know that it's valuable enough to do that.
Do we in fact own that building?
That's one of our foreclosed properties.
Okay, well, I didn't see it on the list, that's why I was.
I think that's one of them.
I had a question put to me. What is the status, the tax status, exempt status of the laughing loan? Does anyone know that?
I don't know. the
They
answer.
are exempt, they're
They are?
501c or something of that nature, and, well, you might want to revisit that, but I can recall a number of years ago with, God bless his soul, Bob Fay, challenged them and wanted to start collecting taxes, and we had a room full of very, very upset ladies come in and visit with all that paperwork, and so I'm not sure what or who or what the status is these days, but
Well, I guess the question arose because of the nature of business or lack of that's changed over there. As well as I told, I don't know. I haven't been there for 50
for the
years.
longest time, it was affiliated with the YWCA. I'm not sure that happens anymore, so I guess the real question is what's the organization that's the property owner? Yes, we could start with that.
Yeah.
Want me to-
Yeah,
Some
if
homework
you
there.
could, if you could.
Well, if they don't own it anymore, I don't think a 501 is transferable.
Don't know.
That would have to be a...
Well, they may very well have created, I mean, the problem is that I'm not sure that is that something that we would catch? I mean, I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tough for us to catch land splits sometimes.
You know, they have been coming in every year for several years, right? Kind to the transfer station with laughing loan.
Laughing loan.
Yeah.
Typically,
They've
it's
been doing this for
typically it was done under the guise of
7 or 8 years anyway.
it was done under the York County United Way Day of Caring, and they spend one day a year up there and do all the buildings and
Is this the
Pick up
same
the-
group that's been doing this year after year? Has it changed?
Yeah.
so if it's
No? Yes. What are you talking
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same group.
is it still
Faces have all changed, let's put it that way.
well
well,
the faces would change, but you know.
Yeah, but
I know that Pratt, when Pratt spent many years, that was one of their major spots where 20, 30 people would go every year. Over time, that moved. Those folks now go to other places. So,
the one that contacted me to open up early, I had opened 9 o'clock that morning, was she works down the Layton's garage. Who it is, I don't know, I can't remember, but she did call me.
It's a she,
They don't
Layton's garage?
Yeah,
You're talking about the service garage?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else for? Yes.
I'm suggesting you take the pending decisions, take the town charter change off that, because that, the town administrators got that under control, I think. But instead, put the annual town meeting on there. And that kind of keeps it coming to us, because we need to make some decisions on that. And it keeps it on the agenda.
Oh, under number 13, pending decisions, is that what you said?
Yeah, on the pending decisions, put the review of annual town meeting.
And remove the public works thing, because you...
Okay.
And the public works is in the breach, right?
Yes.
Anything else? Okay.
What is our, I mean, we need to put it on for discussion too, is what is our status on getting some type of mountain bike thing? And, you know, it's my understanding that there was some group out of Portland or something that we're gonna look into, Gary, or South Portland, that had an organization for that, or It just seems like all that discussion we had on that has kind of dropped off, and
There's a variety of mountain bike groups closer than Portland here. There would take some interest on, I guess, the ATV club or another entity to create some different single-track trails that might parallel the existing snowmobile and ATV trails. That could be done. Mountain bikes go out there and run these trails all the time. More than I know, I haven't done it much. We were going to go to a place in Vermont that does this commercially, that grew out of nothing. It's quite an extensive development now, but they started very small. We have an advantage in that we have 40 miles of approved snowmobile and ATV trails now. That's a tremendous advantage.
and what was the status with Lee Burnett too and that grant money?
He is still interested in doing something here. I need to talk to him again to see if that money is still available. I'm not sure. Let me put it on my to-do list.
Okay, one more time. Is that it, as far as agenda items? Okay, reminders.
For a new chairman, you run an awful long meeting.
I know, it kills me. Wednesday, July 9th, 10 a.m. to noon. Senator King's office will be in the town hall here. Constituent outreach. Wednesday, July 9th, 5 p.m., Economic Development Committee, Town Hall. Thursday, July 10th, 11:30 a.m., senior luncheon.
Wait a minute.
Whoops, excuse me.
Diane put a note out that there was no EDC meeting in July.
Yes, she did.
I missed that.
Okay.
Maybe she didn't, maybe I'm dreaming.
I'll check.
All right. Senior luncheon, Thursday, July 10th at 11:30 to Snowmobile Club. Saturday, the 12th of July at noontime, cribbage tournament. Change in location and time for this one.
I'd also like to just say, the first photo day is on the 12th too.
Very good. Monday, the 14th at 6:30 to 12 town group at the town hall. Monday, July 14th, 7 p.m. cemetery meeting committee at the Old Town Hall. Wednesday, July 16th at 6 p.m. road review committee at the Old Town Hall. Wednesday, the 16th at 7 p.m. planning board at this room here. Saturday, the 19th, 10 a.m. community garden committee free workshop on natural pest control. Tuesday, the 22nd, 6 p.m. Selectmen's meeting. Thursday, the 24th, 11:30, senior luncheon at Snowmobile Club. Thursday, the 24th, 6:30, library board of trustees at the library. And on Saturday, the 26th, is 8:30, the cribbage tournament at the Old Town Hall. If there's nothing else, I would entertain.
I'm having to check on one thing. I don't see the Public Safety Committee date on there.
I had a note that it was canceled, but I may have confused it maybe with the other committee. I'm gonna check on it tomorrow, I'll email all of you.
Okay.
No, 2020 is canceled, that's the one that's supposed to.
Okay. Was that safety, you know,
It would have
was
been
that the
the
9th?
17th at 6
17th.
p.m.
Okay,
here in this room.
all right. Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Those in favor?